How long has it been? Since September.
Since September. It has been a long time. Hello, everyone.
Hello! Hasn't shown yet, so. Oh, there it is.
We're obviously going to do one last one before the holidays.
Spot.
I don't see
We
it.
can fix that, don't worry.
I don't see it.
Yeah, so we haven't been on for quite some time, obviously because we've been busy, but also because Chris has a newborn. So
I am a dad.
He's a dad. And he can really go with these dad jokes now because...
Oh, yeah.
Great.
I've earned my title.
So before the holidays, what we wanted to just talk about was, just tips on how to stay healthy, how to stay clean. Also...
How to manifest the year you want.
How to manifest the year you want. Exactly. That's what we're going to finish with.
That's a good title.
Yeah.
That'll be the title of this show.
That's exactly right. So gratitude for the past year, what you've learned, and grateful for what's to come. What are the changes, and then, like Chris said, manifest on what you guys want for the new year to make the right changes, right? So
you know how you make sure you're always grateful?
Yes.
In the present? By wearing a bow. Because then you're a present.
There goes the Chris and the dad jokes. All right. So just a few tips how to stay, healthy. Obviously, Christmas comes around. We want to eat. We want to indulge in all the sweets and stuff. It's good. Every now and then we're allowed free food. None that's cooking's the lasagna and all that, right? So
if you're lucky to have one, that's where gratefulness.
So where grateful comes in. So I'm sure mom or someone knows how to make some kind of lasagna.
Hopefully.
Make it yourself then, Chris.
I love fish lasagna.
Is that such a thing?
You never had fish lasagna?
I feel like
we were going to have a whole podcast on fish lasagna.
I don't even know what fish lasagna is. Sure, no problem.
You are missing out. No wonder you're not grateful.
Where's it from?
There's a store.
No, he sees the origin.
Like Puglia, or is it from? You don't know?
The store does it. I ate it.
Oh, store. Okay, it's not like your family makes it. Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna have to research on that, I guess. So what can you do to stay lean, right? Continue eating your proteins as much as possible. First thing you do in the morning should be your proteins and fats.
Eggs.
And not just eggs. You can have steak. You can have fish. Right?
American steak. AAA.
Yeah. As clean as possible, as savage as possible.
Clean as possible.
As wild as possible.
No antibiotics.
No antibiotics, no hormones. What else can we say? There are a whole bunch of stuff that are there, right?
You can also say that you can own a chicken in Montreal.
Oh, yes, that's true too.
And did you know chickens lay an egg every single day?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. But it's the natural way to eat proteins in the morning.
100%.
A chicken lays an egg just so you can eat one. Isn't that insane?
Oh, it's for sure for other reasons before just us having an egg.
I think they've been domesticated. We don't know about it, and we should all own a chicken.
I always wanted a coop anyway, so. So that's it. Protein and fats early in the morning. That's how you keep your sugar levels low. You keep your body satiated for a little longer, so that means you can eat less throughout the day. You don't have to crave all the sweets. And when you do have the sweets, you don't have to overindulge on the sweets. The other thing that we always talk about is movement. Movement is key.
Well, before we move on to movement,
Yes.
would you agree that the best sweets are fruits?
Yes, but only for a certain amount of fruits as well. Because
How many fruits?
Well, it's obviously, I say 2 servings, not more than that.
2 servings?
2 servings a day.
So like two tangerines?
No, not 2 tangerines. That would be 1 serving actually. It could be, so that's 1 serving, right?
2 tangerines is 1 serving?
1 serving. 1 serving of fruits. So you could get like a half a cup of berries. I don't know, you probably have more in calculating with macros and stuff than I do. I just go with my own routine and testing, but half a cup of berries, half a cup of strawberries. It depends. Every one of them is different, but normally just enough that you fill your handful, maybe even
So a hand.
about a palm size.
So as long as you can hold it in your hand, that's enough.
It's more than enough.
That's why 2 tangerines is enough. It's like holding 2 something else.
So 1 orange would be 1 serving,
I see.
right? So
What's your favorite fruit? What's your favorite fruit, Adam?
Mine is actually watermelon.
Watermelon!
That's a good question.
You don't know your favorite fruit?
You know, like there's fruit and then there's fruit flavor. Do you know what I mean?
No, an actual fruit.
Oh,
The
okay.
fruit flavor.
Fruit flavor.
Fruit flavor is,
So like when
is
I
colored,
have
man.
like a maraschino cherry was a cherry, but clearly it's no longer just a cherry. But I love that. I love cherries. Favorite fruit?
You just said you cherry.
Yeah, but it's not the same. A black cherry's not the same. No, it's that's a good. I think blueberry.
Blueberry.
Yeah, I
Blueberries.
think blueberry. Yeah.
Blueberries are good for the brain, and you can have them before bed. Technically, I say never have fruits at night, but for some people, it actually helps them. But berries, because they're good for the brain, they actually help you reduce the stress too before going to bed.
I do hear that it helps avoid Alzheimer's symptoms.
Mhm. There's a few studies for a lot of things, right? So that's one of them. So movement will be number 2.
For me, it's oranges.
Oh,
You didn't ask.
Tangerine. Tangerines are orange. Tangerines are orange.
Tangerines are like more.
so
The reason why I like tangerines the
tangerine,
most.
mandarin.
So for me, they're all the same group. I know they're all different, but I always have this debate. A orange is an orange, a tangerine's a tangerine. They're both oranges. I call them oranges.
But you know what really made me love tangerines? Scurvies.
Why?
Did you know pirates would have scurvies because they didn't have enough oranges?
Why? Because the vitamin C.
Vitamin C.
Yeah.
There you go.
Isn't that interesting? Because they were at sea so much, they would get sick so badly.
Okay.
They just need
Do you
oranges.
think you're a pirate?
No.
Okay.
All those seamen.
I'm more of a cowboy.
Moving
on. Physical movement.
movement. So movement, why is that key? Because again, it's the key to life. You always want to keep moving. The more that we move, the more that the body circulates. Bowel movements circulate better as well. Free flow also helps with the brain. And when we're in our during our holidays, yes, it's good to relax, but you just want to have like maybe a walk or something just to get the body moving, because as we relax, well, at the same time we get a bit of lazy. I don't know about some of you, but I know a lot of people that they sit around, they do nothing, and because they eat so much, then they get even lazier.
Gets easier and
Gets easier and easier to stay in that habit. Those
Food
habits.
coma is a real problem.
Yeah, and us Italians really know that. And because, once we continuously move, then it helps with our digestion, then we could, I don't want to say the words, but eat more as well.
Do you guys have a traditional meal you guys tend to eat every year, at least once during the holidays at home?
Well, that's why I mentioned the lasagna. I know
Lasagna is a
I always
Christmas thing?
do have lasagna.
What
Yeah,
kind?
meat lasagna.
Like it's heavy on the meat. You know, like you have different.
Well, there's different kinds. There's ricotta that we eat, or meat.
Because like the heavy meat one, that's Napoli, right? And then the one that has more like the what's that white sauce hollandaise and stuff. That's more from like Bologna. I don't know.
So you actually probably know more than I do.
But that's why I ask what you eat, because I'm sure your mom or your grandma do, but I'm always interested to see what people eat. Like you mentioned fish lasagna. I've never heard of it. And I thought maybe you were making it. I was like, that's fascinating. I'd love to try.
I do want to give a shout out to Vince.
Why?
Tangerines are awesome. We care.
There you go.
Well, so tangerine versus mandarin. What's the difference? So what's a Christmas orange?
Tangerine.
That's a tangerine.
Christmas ones are.
Yeah.
That's usually when tangerines come out.
Yeah.
It's flavored like
I trick sometimes. Like
I just don't know the
labels of
difference.
Mandarin.
For me, an orange is
smaller,
an orange.
no?
Yeah, I know, but for me, an orange is an orange.
Like
all
one
the same
seems like
family.
flat. One looks like it's like pumpkin shaped, and then the other one looks like a little ball. That's a tangerine, and the orange is that the shapes are just all over the place.
Then you have bloody orange and all that.
Oh yeah.
So back to movement.
Yes.
Is it best to have movement after eating or before eating? And
So how would I say both?
What?
I would say both.
both.
Why? Because, like I said, if you have movement, then it helps with your digestion. So you're losing calories, and you can actually eat more because you're able to refuel your body. And again, everybody's different, so you have to just go with what's best for you. Then if you do it after, again, it helps with your digestion because you can move more. You could, get everything circulating.
How long in between would you say? Like you finished eating, you should wait like what, 30 or 20
With
minutes?
anything, you want to wait, a good 20, 30 minutes just so you could actually digest,
Right.
because your body is in the process of digesting. And with any activity, really a minimum of an hour before any activity, because that's when your body digests. And if you want a full digestion happening, it goes anywhere between 3 to 4 hours. And if you want a full evacuation,
4 hours.
Yeah, so your body's digesting for 4 hours. And if you really want a full spectrum of until you eliminate, it's 24-hour thing. 18 to 24 hour
So you're saying you should move after 24 hours?
No. I'm saying the movement aspect of the way your body digests and actually eliminates things.
Okay.
But after 20 to 30 minutes, that's when you can probably start going for a walk. It's light
20, 30 minutes.
after you eat. Yeah.
Same thing like going into a pool.
Well, I guess you can think of it that way too. But again,
You just won't drown if you go walking.
Yeah, exactly. I eat and I go into a pool right away, or I eat and I go walking. I'm fine. Everybody's different. They'll know what they're able to handle.
What about you, Andrew?
What's the
Did
question?
you feel safe going into a pool after eating right away?
I was never that kid who would throw up or feel weird from that, but I definitely had the grandmother and mothering system around me that fed me that old wives' tale. I think it must apply because again, like Anthony would teach us, you have when you're moving, it's going to divert blood and resources to the extremities to actually start to utilize those abilities, and when you're digesting, it's trying to, like, you have sympathetic, parasympathetic. They're kind of opposing, and it's which one is priority to life in that moment. So I'm sure it's a little conflicting. So they both happen at a lessened rate, I imagine, when you try and combine them both. Mm-hmm. So you're like, people who have, you must see this in clinic. I'm only speaking out of my ass, but I assume people who have that issue are already people who have that anxious stomach or have that slower digestion. You know, the person who gets ulcers, the person who worries, they might be like, yeah, if I have a fucking grape and I go swimming, I feel like shit. I was like, oh, I just ate Anthony's lasagna and I went for a swim. So no, I think like you, I've heard you talking about eating on the bench. I've done that too. Yeah. Some people can't do that. I don't know. It must be person to person, right?
It is person.
And I guess this idea that you shouldn't jump into a pool before eating is because your stomach is so heavy that you're going to drown.
Well, that's what, no, it's not because you're going to drown. It's just because you're getting the lack of, like Andrew was saying, the lack of blood flow to the muscles, to the digestive tract to digest properly. So you feel sick after or whatnot. Or you could potentially puke or whatever it is because there's a lot of movement involved in swimming. So that could be one of the reasons why.
So, like, specifically, massive joke ahead.
Yeah.
If you have too much blood flowing in one area after eating, that's not good either.
It's activity. It's activity.
Because you need that blood to digest.
You need that blood to digest, but it's also...
So you should not be doing anything after
just
eating
that-
anything.
but you'll have...
To those people who really like food, maybe you should not touch yourself after eating.
You were going to say something, Andrew?
I don't remember.
So, eat clean, keep your proteins up, keep your meals small throughout the holidays. Maybe eat a little more frequently. You know the times that you're gonna eat a lot, so just schedule around your holiday events. And then we have movement. And the third one, what I like to say is guilt. Never feel guilty about eating something during the holidays. The whole point of the holidays is to spend time with your family, enjoy family time. So whenever you feel guilty eating desserts or whatnot, or that negative emotion, like we always say, you absorb it, right? So for 1 week, you won't die. If you scrap your diet for 1 week, it's not an issue, right? Nobody's gonna chase you down with an axe that has to chop off your arm. So nobody's stressing you out. Eat joyfully with your family, with less stress, no guilt. You could get your abs back once you hit the gym the week after with your New Year's resolution. Those are my 3 key points. Is basically continuously eating your protein so you feel satiated and you don't overeat.
I thought you were going to say continuously eating your emotions. I just heard that in my head.
No, I just said don't be guilty. Don't feel guilty.
No, I know.
And don't feel guilty when you eat. So.
And that does do with that scientist who proved that the energy you give to water makes the water crystallize in a bad way.
100%.
So it's the same thing with your food.
100%.
Well,
And
you should always be very grateful
Whatever.
about the food you're eating.
100%.
No matter what it
And
is.
Present as well.
Present.
Yeah, leave your
Sitting
phone
there,
leave your phone away. Also present in a way where
Like you said, grateful for it.
grateful for it and don't argue, right? Don't have arguments around your food.
No.
Because you're absorbing it.
Have a conversation.
It's different.
Have an open conversation about the topic. Learn stuff. Ooh, someone wrote something.
What do we got? Oh, we got Sam.
Okay. Everyone going quiet?
Okay, let me read it out. Any suggestions for emotional health during the holidays? I know for myself, a lot of family members can easily be triggered during large events.
Well, this is where we come back with the grateful aspect of things, which we're about to talk on, right? So, let's dive into it right away. Let's talk about the grateful. So we all know, like Sam just said, families can have there's rough periods during the holidays. Whether you lost someone, whether you're in a fight with someone, whether it's just you don't like the holidays, whatever the case may be, there's always an emotional situation aspect during the holidays that, well, like it or not, either we enjoy it or we don't, right? And that's where it brings us to who and why we're grateful for, what we're grateful for, really.
And here are some suggestions. Name a person you are grateful for and why. Well, I'm grateful for my wife. Why? She gave me a child. Another way is to name a place you are grateful for. And a lot of times we tend to forget how important your room is, right? It's a place where you go to sleep, but it's a safe place where you should feel safe enough to fall asleep. Because some people have beds that they're not feeling safe around, right? So, talk about the places that you're grateful for. That's something you can talk with family about, right? Like we always think, oh, the stuff in the news is what we should talk about. No, let's actually talk about...
We should never be talking about the things in the news anyways, but...
Let's talk about stuff that we're grateful for.
Yeah.
So like the places we go, that should be one thing. The people we talk about. Something that you
And it doesn't have to be just one person or one thing, right? There's a few things that if whatever resonates with you...
Well, I'm getting to that
okay.
too. But let's talk about something you learned during the year, right?
Okay.
That's something great to talk to family about too. It's emotional and it's healthy. Talking about, oh, I learned how to save money this year. I know what a GSD is versus a low tax savings account, like something like that.
Want to explain to us?
Sharing that conversation. Well, the government thing is a whole other topic. But talk about things you learned. Talk about the places you like. Finding a new place to go to. Like that fish lasagna restaurant that we talked about later.
Is it Italian at least?
It is actually.
Okay.
Wow.
Tell about.
Do you know what I mean? Like you just go there. It's like. Yeah.
Tell about a time when someone was very helpful to you, right? You can talk about that with your family.
Yeah.
Tell someone what you like about them.
Yep.
It's a good idea, right? I love
That's-
Andrew's forehead. Like
It's soft.
his head makes me feel like, if I go bald, I'll still look sexy like Andrew.
It'd probably suit you. Yeah.
So talk to people about what they like. And another thing too is who was grateful for your help today? Because you know what, we don't talk about that, but people do tell you, and you can share
We
it.
don't talk about a lot of things if you think about it. We
Yeah,
always
well,
talk about the same
I
things.
just mentioned a lot of good
Yeah,
things.
no, but that's what I'm saying is we always talk about the same things.
A lot of people were taught it's not safe to talk to.
100%.
Which is the hardest thing to do this. This is why this is fun. Like if people can't see it, Chris has this thing, it's a paper, and you cut it out and you actually make it like a dice with it. So if ever you don't want to decide for yourself, you roll the dice and you listen to the dice.
And you can talk about the topics.
Yeah.
It's actually cool when you look at it, not bringing the energy aspects into it, but if you use this with energy,
What do you mean?
like if you, in the same way like you use the tarot cards.
Oh,
You
it
can-
chooses for
It
you.
chooses for you, and then you have to no choice but to say, you know what, I'm grateful for X, Y, Z.
I'm happy you brought that up. Let's talk about randomness, because that's the beauty of tarot cards. It's the randomness of a cube and how you flip it. The randomness that comes out is based on your energy.
And
That's
that's why I brought it up, because whatever your energy is portraying is what you're going to get out of it, right? And that's what the tarot cards are. That's what energy itself. That's what pendulum and muscle testing. Everything is there because that's the energy that you're portraying that needs to be worked on. That needs to be aligned.
Exactly.
Would you be willing to post it so people can download it and cut it out themselves?
I could suggest something even better.
Okay.
Go on Pinterest and write down grateful cube, and you'll find it there for sure.
Oh, good.
I'm sure you can find it even on Google.
Because even just as an activity, you're saying with family, you put this in the middle of the table, and obviously people might not want to, so you have to kind of force them. But it's
you
it's
could
a
always-
game. It's not a
You
bad
always
game.
just go
It's
up to a
like,
friend
you
and
know,
be like, hey, let's play a game. Just flip it in front
well,
of
like you play this before you play cards. If you go into cards intense, you see half the fights spring up during cards. Like there's
Or you should do this after playing, because once the tense the tension's gone.
Yeah, but
We bring
before
it
it
back.
gives that
Yeah, I
energy
know.
of positivity.
Maybe
and
both, like you said, with exercise, before and after. You're right, but it's not
Just to remind them what they have to be grateful for.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. You know, because like I'll never associate with those games as strongly as other people do. But like my grandfather told me before he died, the reason he's so intense is because he was brought up on gambling with cards. So when you play that many times in your life over decades, your brain's automatically associating every hand with I'm losing money, even if it's not on the table.
Sure.
So like the shit you'd see at Christmas is crazy. Like
that is holding on to the past.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But this could be fun. I mean, that kind of man might have found this silly, but you never know what it does to the whole table. Because, like, if 9 out of 10 people are vibing better because of it, it might soften that one person.
Very true. Very true.
You know.
So,
Cool thing.
go make your own cubes, guys.
Find it.
Start being
Pinterest.
grateful. Start being grateful for what life has to give us.
Yeah.
And we know, it's corny to say it, and we always say this often, but life is short, man. And
Yep.
one day to the next, and you see it more and more happening now. A lot of people are dying at a younger age, so just don't take life for granted. Explore and enjoy life as full as you can. Do the activities that you want to do. Again, we're always going to come back to it, but be grateful, man. Be grateful for everything that is presented in front of you, and be grateful in a way because we're here to live an experience. So be grateful for waking up every day to have the chance to learn what that experience actually is.
Probably try and fuck up a lot, too.
Uh-huh.
Right? Because, like, a lot of times we get frozen into inaction for fear of fucking up. But
I'm happy you brought that
I
word
think
up.
we're supposed to.
Yeah.
Mistakes are
Repeatedly.
for growth. Mistakes
100%.
are to help us grow.
100%.
And some people are really good at succeeding on everything they do. That's probably why by comparison we don't think we should. But
You know,
I think most of us learn by fucking up.
I think a great skill should be that you're proud to be a failure.
Well, that's the problem. Is that we're grown up to believe that mistakes are bad when they're not. Hey, how many mistakes did I do growing a business? And I still make mistakes. But that's the only way to improve and get better, right? Life is a journey anyways.
And
It
that
is
programming
our-
isn't ours. Or
No.
us as a baby, we're not
No.
programmed to be like, I'm afraid of failing. We're like, I'll climb that play structure and fall again. I don't care. I broke my leg. Okay. But it's taught. It's taught like anything else. Someone told us that we weren't good enough, or someone projected their own fear of failure because.
There's a great quote on that. You are not responsible for what was programmed to you when you were young.
Mhm.
But now that you're an adult, you are responsible
Yep.
to deprogram the stuff that's not helpful anymore.
You tagged us in that actually.
I did
You
tag
put
you.
it somewhere in here.
It was in the
You're
chat.
supposed to chase me back because it was tagged.
I actually think it's a post in my Instagram because you
Very
tagged
possible,
me in
very
it.
possible.
Very possible.
Right there.
There it is.
Can they see on that?
I don't know. Yeah. Well, you are not responsible for the programming you received in childhood. As an adult, you are 100% responsible for fixing it.
And then I added, by following and listening to No Name Podcast, you are ensured to take charge of your adult life.
That's why we give you guys the tips, the helpful tips as much as possible.
So shit your pants. You get one life, you gotta shit your pants.
That's when you learn to wear a diaper.
Or learn to hold it in until you have to go to the bathroom.
That's true.
So, apart from being grateful for the past year or for the past years of your life that you've lived, New Year, as much as it is an event and it's the start of a new year, obviously, it's always a new chapter in your life to make something different, bring something new to the table, bring something, a new habit, a new learning experience. Whatever you learned in the past year, you can take what you learned and continue growing on it for the upcoming years, or the year, sorry. And so that's where a manifestation of what you want, now we're 2024, what you want in 2024 to happen, what you want to attract as much as possible.
And there's a lot of shit that's going to happen in 2024, so it's time to be really grateful and make sure that you stay strong about it. And, you know, what's really cool is that every New Year's is an actual ritual the whole world participates in. And that ritual should be, like you just said, leaving the stuff in the past and deciding what's new for me in the future.
Or taking what you learned from the past, right? Just,
Oh, for sure,
just
learn.
building on it.
But letting go of the
Yeah.
things that are holding you back.
And that's the thing, it's a hard time for a lot of people to let go.
That's why they're all very constipated.
Comparison's a big thief.
Okay?
So comparison's a big thief for a lot of people in life, and especially now.
You should only compare yourself to yourself.
I totally agree.
To your past.
That's been natural for me, but I'd say for the most of the people around me, I've seen that's the opposite. They don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm not putting them on the spot. I'm just saying I realized, at least from my fortune in meeting different people, that I'm curious, but I don't compare in that sense. But it hurts a lot of people, and they're sometimes they're suffering silently. You don't even know,
100%.
and even that underlying negativity that we were discussing before. I don't know that they always know that it comes from comparison, but it's a hard world not to if they are like that, because everything in here it's just an image of what's nice in most people's lives, and that it's just not the truth. There's a lot more to life. Most people's life is not a giant reel, you know. It's yeah.
So
I hope they're okay.
some tips on how to manifest for the new year. Journal. Write out a journal. Write out your goals, and write out your goals in your present tense. I am a card reader. I don't know.
I am wealthy.
I am wealthy. Or I am healthy. Stuff like that. You know, always in the I am. I am learning. Because that puts you in a more affirmative state where you're going to eventually become that being, that person that you aspire to be.
And once you have your goal, the next page, well, first one is what you said, write down all your goals. The next page, you take one and break it down. How do you reach that?
Yeah.
How do you reach the idea of being wealthy? And maybe sometimes the first step of being wealthy is revamping the definition of what does that even mean.
Exactly.
Because being wealthy could just mean you're healthy. It means that you are grateful that you have what you already have versus what you think you should have. And then you break that down. The next skill. What else?
I always come back to meditation. Meditate, but in a way that you visualize what's your goal and visualize yourself becoming that person and feeling the emotions as though, I'll bring up the example, it's not a good one, but I'll bring up the example of winning the lotto. How would you feel winning the lotto max, right? Put yourself in a situation that you've already achieved the goal and visualize you actually having that goal. And this goes as a meditation where it's not just a one-time thing on New Year's Day and that's it. You gotta have a visualization set and practiced every day at the same time. It's a practice like anything else.
And true meditation is that, along with seeing those possible negative things flow away. Because meditation at the end of the day is you visually being able to see your thoughts flowing away.
Yep.
So you decide as a fisherman which ones you want to capture and how that works. But by saying, okay, I want to win the lottery, well, how is that going to happen? Also, what's possibly going to happen afterwards, right? You win. Now what? Who's coming after you? Taxes, that's for sure. And other people too. So you have to mindfully visualize all those possibilities, but also let the ones that you feel are negative flow away.
Yep.
While you see the ones that are possibly interesting, saying, you know what, if I do, I get that car I want.
Mm-hmm.
Or I get that boat I want.
Yep. So that's, I think,
Journal, meditation.
yeah, I think that's those are the top three that I would
Top
go
three?
with, unless you have anything else to add. For
I recommend, what's that?
Vision board.
Vision board. Vision boards
yeah.
are cool.
So
I
not
agree with that
so what you could do is everything that you put in a journal and how you're gonna get to your goals, put it on a vision board so you see it every day.
And what's really cool is that sometimes you can cut out from magazines and put a picture of that. Or you go online.
You know, we've done that in the past and growing up. I remember doing it in high school or in elementary. We thought of, it's a little fun project, but little do you know that those things are what you actually needed in your everyday lives.
I agree.
But we just put it aside and
We should do more.
Yeah, no, 100%. Bring out your creativity, right? Vision board brings out your creativity. How can you be creative in a way to bring your goals to life?
Agreed. So those are three of them. Enjoy.
So that's it. I think on that note, we'll just keep it at that. Again, eat your proteins as much as possible.
Do you have a sequence in which you recommend to eat them first?
Like what kind of proteins do you eat first?
No, like if you're eating and you're met with like a plate of, like obviously it's not a combined dish,
So you mean with...
would you eat them before the other pieces?
So
of
in
the
Greek mythology, protein actually means first.
Okay.
So protein should always be eaten first, no matter what. And this is actually good for, on a day-to-day basis, always eat your proteins first, so you digest first. You start creating the amylase proteins, amylase enzymes in your mouth. You start stimulating the protease in your pancreas as well, so that you start digesting better. And then again, because of the protein coming in first, you start being more satiated. And once you're more satiated, then you eat less, so you're gonna have less carbs or want less carbs, right? So proteins first, then your vegetables, then your carbs. That's how I would do it.
So the protein first will facilitate digestion and everything else.
Pretty much, yeah. And that's actually was a Chinese, aside from Greek mythology or Greek, what it means, proteos means first having that, having protein first. In the Chinese medicine, there's actually ways of eating your proteins, like having your proteins first as well for digestion.
Proteins.
So your proteins, healthy fats, small meals. Then we had said
Movement after 30 minutes.
20 to 30 minutes.
Make sure the blood is where it needs to be.
And before?
And you can also be before, walk before as well. And guilt. Don't feel guilty and don't eat stressed. So
Just be grateful.
just be grateful. All right?
Guilt is evil.
Roll the dice.
Roll the
Roll
dice.
the dice.
Be
Pinterest.
And then manifest. Journal, vision board, meditate.
Yep.
See yourself actually going through
The process.
and being who you want to be.
You can make this like a family cultural habit. Not that it's going to be taken easily, but in a more flexible system, you make like a wooden one. It becomes like you sense the mood of the room getting fucked up at any event. You're like, we're rolling the dice, and like, fuck, fine. And then eventually it's like everybody has to do it, and you actually reprogram parts of the culture. And it's simple, but it could be that kind of thing. We're like, all right, get the dice.
I like
Well,
that.
fucking
very
roll
awesome,
it. They're like, you're right, I can't be mad anymore. I don't really care that you burnt the toast. Just processing something
agree.
from yesterday, and I'm not present right now.
I
I'm very
agree
grateful.
100%.
I think it's cool. I like this a
You're
lot.
very right-handed about this topic.
What do you mean right-handed?
You're not left.
I don't understand.
It's a joke. Go on.
Listen, explain. I missed it.
I'll
Explain.
explain it after the show.
No, right
All
now.
right, bye.
Happy holidays, guys, and we'll see you in the new year.
Okay.
I like this.